Holy City Sound Off, episode 12. We have a very, very special guest today, Coach Ben Pirmann. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you again. We obviously spoke back in December. You were newly appointed then. How have things been for you personally, as you settled in Charleston and gotten to enjoy the local food, the community, and, of course, the beer itself? I'm a big fan of the beer down there.
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome, to be honest. There's not many better places to live than the Low Country. My wife and I, we live downtown, so we walk around, we explore. We got a dog. We go is walking around town as much as possible, and then obviously working for the Battery and the club and the people around has been tremendous. It's been a great year. It's been a long year and gone by way too quickly, but it's been nothing but positive vibes.
That's great to hear. What kind of dog do you have? I don't know if you asked.
A golden retriever.
Okay,
that does ring a bell.
Fitting. Yeah, fitting for the area. I feel like that's like the perfect dog to have down south. That's awesome. Well, I don't know if you remember, but we actually did see you at the home opener, and we waved hello, but you didn't recognize us. So we're not holding anything against you, but I just wanted to. Yeah.
It's harder than you would. I know it's a small stadium. It's harder than you would think getting everything going on at once.
No, I totally got that. Hey, you have another opportunity to wave back.
Chance.
So we're coming down. I don't know if you know this. We're coming down this Sunday for the game, for a playoff game. So looking forward to that.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we can put on a show for you guys.
Yeah, we actually I don't want to wish any bad luck, but Howlers showing up hasn't been.
Our mojo hasn't. Well, you drew the match that we saw, so that's not too bad.
And Hartford, they won.
Oh yeah, I went to Hartford and saw. So maybe I just have to be the one that goes, and you have to stay home.
Yeah, the AJ Patterson belter.
Yeah, I saw that live.
What a goal! Yeah,
an insane goal. Well, obviously, we spoke to you then. Huge congratulations to the season so far. Obviously, the win over the weekend to end out the regular season, and obviously securing home field advantage. Having joined the Charleston Battery and just recently, making history, having the largest point turnaround in USL Championship history, how does that feel for you? Coming into the season with a big job, with a big project, and to see how it's all panned out.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, at this level, you want to win as many football matches as possible. We're hyper, even this week going into, we've just gone from a 38-week season to a 6-day season. Even with that being said, we're into processes. Everything about us are processes and our platforms, whether that's to be the best football team we can, be good citizens, good people, good teammates. So to go through the last 9 months the way we have, and to have such a great turnaround and do as well as we have, obviously that's great. For the club to be a home playoff team, to set some records. We've got young players playing well. We've got older players playing well. Players are getting off the field, on the field. It's just been enjoyable. And one of the things for me and our mission and our passion was we wanted to make the Charleston Battery fun again. Growing up and such a historic club, every person I speak to from MLS and these guys, I love going there and doing this. And that's what we want Charleston Battery to be about. Be fun, whether you're an owner, a president, you're the kit man, you come to the games, you're taking tickets, you're security guard, anybody who's there, to enjoy what we get to do each Saturday night. And I think, to be honest, outside of a couple games, it's been so tremendous. And even those couple games that didn't go our way makes the positives feel so much better.
Yeah, well said. And I think from my experience being at Patriots Point, I was able to go to the game against Oakland Roots in August. A really good matchup, a really strong team in Oakland. But just the overall game experience as a fan was so much fun. I mean, you guys do a great job down in Charleston, and we've credited the front office too, the media side of things, like the on the road all access stuff is awesome to see. So it's not only on the pitch, it's off the pitch. We're seeing like all this really good content go out and all these cool clips and just, like you said, making it fun again. So and the yellow smoke I loved watching on ESPN Plus. Like, you see Trey or Kuz in net, and then
those
there's
pictures
smoke.
are unreal.
You see Palma getting smoked out by yellow smoke.
Still don't know how they sort out breathing when that stuff's rolling across the pitch, but definitely fun. This is our first full season also following the Battery.
Yeah.
Even following from afar up in the Northeast, the highest octane football that we watched this season was certainly with the Battery, whether it's late comebacks, dramatic, we just had it all, it seems.
No, it has been crazy. I mean, we've lost a game 7-0. We've started the season 7 in a row. It's crazy. I mean, these things happen over 10 months. We've played 37 official matches. Like you mentioned, AJ Patterson scoring a bomb from 30 yards out in the 90th minute to win it after being down 3-1. We've had anything and everything going on. I mean, I hopefully on Sunday we can get as much yellow smoke going as possible. We're doing that. That means we're scoring. We want to try to get as many as possible.
Right on. Yeah, and you touch on, so coming into the season, it's always the goal is to kind of collect as many points as possible. Down the stretch, you might not have collected as many points as you would have liked. And in particular, kind of the late game form was an issue, you could say. What's something that you did to kind of address that, or specific changes that you made?
I mean, it's a good question. We didn't, again, it kind of just goes back to who we are and how we operate. I mean, the biggest thing for us, like you mentioned, we lost 2 games in a row where we're winning in the second half, and that's just not a good recipe for any sort of success. So you kind of look at the reasons why. Is it pairings? Is it bad coaching? Is it unfortunate? We addressed, actually, ironically enough, our away game at Indy 11. I think it was June 12th or something. And July 12th. And we sat there as a team and we looked around. I said, look, we just tied 1-1. Yep, maybe we got hosed on a penalty, or maybe this didn't go away and we hit the crossbar and all these things. I was like, that's a playoff game. At that time, I said, we have 15 more playoff games on the docket. And I even referenced it, and I said, I don't even care if you're looking at Loudoun away, who maybe wasn't in high as in the table as some of the other teams. I said, they're going to be playing for their lives. Every single game is going to be a playoff game. So we've tried to view these as playoff matchups. Now, the difference is when we blew those leads and lost the games, we kept playing. And then we had a really good match last couple days ago against Birmingham. So I think the biggest thing was just, a little bit more attention to detail. You could tell in the second half on Saturday against Birmingham whether guys played 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 45 minutes. It didn't. Anybody who was in there said, we're getting a shutout. We're seeing this game out. And if we score a second one, even better. So I think it's just a little bit natural over 34 games to take your foot off the gas, because we couldn't really do any better. We couldn't do really any worse. We were playing well, but you want to see those out, especially against 2 teams that were fighting for their lives for their seasons.
Yeah. And a team fighting for their life is never an easy matchup when you already got most things secured and accounted for. You sound incredibly smart predicting the future by saying Indy 11 was the first one that was the playoff match. And now we look to Indy 11, and it is a team that you're yet to beat this season.
Yeah.
And maybe dealt an inconvenient call early on in the match to go down a man, and then the result, we know how it kind of went with the 4-0 and then a 1-1 draw as well. What's the mindset going into a match as a team, or even as a head coach, being that it's a team that you haven't found success against yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing going into it is, look, there's a third of this league now they're golfing, they're at home, they're done. Another third's going to be done come Sunday at midnight type thing. So, there is a little bit of it's set in mentally and psychologically and spiritually that, it's win or go home. In every detail, you'll lose. Seasons and heartbrokenness will be felt if we're not as tough as we can be. So that's number one. Number two, specifically to Indy 11, they whooped us. I don't know what I'm allowed to say words wise, but they kicked.
Say whatever you want.
We can believe some stuff.
I know 9 seconds in, we conceded a penalty and a red card, but they kicked our butt. That fair and square. The second game out there, we played a really, really good game, faded a little bit, and had to settle for a tie. When we were going into this final weekend, and you look at Birmingham, you look at Indy, and you look at Louisville, I can't really tell you who's better, who's worse, these players, this team. I mean, I could tell you that nobody's played as well as Indy 11 the last month. I can tell you that in the build-up phase, in their positional game, and while they're in possession, they're as good as there is in this entire league. But in my own heart, I wanted to play Indy simply because they whooped us so bad. Like, I'm embarrassed. I'm like, oh, we got to get back at them. So any game is going to be tough. Doesn't matter who you're playing, where you're playing. We've done a lot of work to achieve a home playoff game. So hopefully that can help us and push us to get the advancement out of this round. But I'm really looking at it like looking at some of their players like Cam Lindley, Guinzotti, Dispe, center back Trokes on fire and goal. We're going to have our hands full, but I want them to have their hands full with us too. I think it'll be a 50-50 even game, and what's going to be the separation, and then maybe it's the supporters. Maybe you guys are going to be the ones that push
screaming that extra bit.
Yeah. You'll hear us.
Probably walk away with no voice.
Solomon Asante is a player that obviously on Indy is one of the star players. Suspension is, I think, the case for him. He won't be available on Sunday for Indy. How does that change your tactics going in? How does that change anything for you? Is it mostly just stick to what you already have in mind, or are you kind of looking at that as a obviously thing to take advantage of?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the biggest thing, whether it's injuries, suspensions, international call-up, you can only play the players that are available, and you can only compete against the players that they put out. So he's a top player. He's been the MVP in this league multiple times for a reason. I don't think it's going to change their identity. I think they're going to build, and they're going to try to play through lines. They're going to try to create those overloads centrally to get around us with their fullbacks. He's exceptional, but they've got guys ready to do it to come in. So for us, we have to make sure that our philosophy, our platform, and then our work rate, our attitude, our actions, our behaviors are greater than theirs. And it's going to be tough because they're saying the exact same thing in Indy right now about how they need to go above and beyond. But it's all about us pushing, doing the best that we can to make sure we're fighting to try to knock them out and push on.
Amen to that. Playoff football, it's coming back to Charleston. It's the first time Patriots Point will see playoff football. That's got to be exciting, but at the same time, it's probably a bit stressful. You as a manager, with the name and the accolades that you had coming into Charleston this season, with the players that you have, a very talented squad, you being favorites going in, how do you deal with the pressure, with the expectations? How do you as a person, as a manager, deal with that going into these games?
I mean, honestly, I think it's kind of like what I said is, you got to find look, this isn't just another game, but it's a 90-minute football match. So we want to train the same way, which is with intensity and integrity. We want to be selfless with our actions. We want to make sure that the group's fully together in everything that we need to do. The severity of the situation and the accountability of our actions will be even heightened. For me, it's less about the pressure, more about hopefully for the players to be able to enjoy it. You just mentioned there, this is the first time in the stadium that they're going to be playing. We'll be playing USL playoff football. Battery haven't been able to host a playoff game since 2018. We haven't been in the playoffs since 2019. So, all the more reason to enjoy it, all the more reason to have fun with what we're doing. Now, fun isn't just going out unprepared and winging it. We'll be prepared. We're very respectful of our opponent. As you said, they've whooped us. But for us, we want to go out, enjoy it, have fun. That means competing. That means looking at them and saying, hey, you guys are a great team. We respect you. But, today we got to land one right in your jaw type thing and push on from there. But, like I said, they're going to be saying the same thing. They have pressure. I think who can manage the emotions and not push them down, but play right on that edge and teeter a little bit too crazy, but not too crazy, and get after it and, try to push to get out of the first round.
Yeah, knockout football is just a whole nother ball game, and you got those adrenaline rush to handle when you first 15 and then you're exhausted because you're just absolutely drained from that adrenaline kick and you got to bounce back. But
hopefully we can make it longer than 9 seconds with 11 men this time.
Yeah. Hopefully. Even just you talking about it though, it makes me all the more excited to get down there. Yeah. And I mean, maybe not popcorn ready, maybe brisket ready to enjoy the match and sit down and root you guys on. But what a season it's been. And as we kind of just transition here on the podcast, taking a look back, so all guns a-blazing for Indy, but looking back and reflecting on the season, which is far from done, certainly not done. In the team, you've been able to work with a wide range of personalities, from young talents to veterans that bring loads of skill. But what's something that you've learned from the teammates within the squad this season? Is there a particular thing that stands out?
That's a really good question. I've never really reflected on it like that. I would say this is only my third year as head coach in USL Championship. So first year was complete bonkers. Second year, last year in Memphis was great and successful. I knew going in with the transition this year, it's new players, new people, new club, new everything. It's not going to be replicated of what we just did. But I wanted to make sure that we were using our same platform, same identity, the style of play, our standards. What jumped out to me, and this is probably, in life, this is how it goes, is how different and unique human beings are. They respond differently. We started off the season with 7 unbeaten, and then we lose. Just the resilience and the ability of people to be selfless, to be together and willing to genuinely put the Charleston Battery before everything. And that's not their families, not their kids, not their wives, not their partners, but when the whistle blows in between the lines, there's nothing else that matters. I told the team, like, whether they become a lawyer, a father, a construction worker, they're an agent, they're a coach, whatever their future after football is, these young men are going to be very successful because they understand the concept of the group. They understand the concept of hard work and selflessness, but they also understand the concept of success, which is massive in the modern day. So for me, it's been very honorable and humbling to be able to coach these young men because they just want to win and they'll do whatever it takes, which is really, really, really uncommon in a team sport.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to sit down with Augie. He had some very good words about you, saying you're the type of manager that he'd run through a wall for. So yeah, obviously you can see that how it's very mutual in terms of learning from each other and the respect aspect, which is really cool to see because obviously, professional footballers and the professional level, it's in the USL, it's high churn rate. It's sometimes maybe hard to buy in when it's a quick turnaround. So, just from my experience following the Battery, it seems like everybody in that team is good vibes and hardworking. Very much excited to get down there, like Connor's mentioned. In terms of reflecting, what's been your favorite moment so far? Obviously, your next favorite moment will be a Sunday win, but positive vibes. Putting them out there, by the way. But what's been your favorite moment thus far?
That is a tough one. I would say our first win was that Tampa at home, game number 3. I think it was our first one. We won 3-0. It meant a lot to the players. It meant because they had been working so hard. We had played 2 good games, didn't get the result. Fidel scored a nice goal. Marcanic, Augie got a penalty. Dotson drew. Things were kind of going our way, and we were missing Leland Archer. We were missing Declan Wynn. We were missing AJ Patterson. We were missing so many guys through international call-ups and this stuff. So to have that was pretty awesome. We've won away at Tampa, which was really cool. And I would say the win against San Diego, those moments to me were like collective things of months and months worth of work, especially that San Diego game of just coming together. And you're like, man, you could just step back, watch it, enjoy it. And it's pretty cool. So, there's usually those highs, those big wins are the ones. Like you said, hopefully this Sunday's even the best memory of the whole season.
Yeah, definitely. It will be.
And after the Tampa win, you get to tell Lee he made the right decision.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
No, that was a big one for everybody. I just know the first two games we were playing, we played well. We didn't get a win. It's like, oh, what's going on? And then, to get that one, and young Fidel hadn't even turned 17 yet, was getting a goal. So it was good. It was just good to see the whole team thrive in those moments.
Yeah, I think I remember that Fidel goal. It was like, it was unreal. But I remember that one. What's been the most frustrating match this season? I can speak of one potentially, the Louisville game. That frustrated me. They also trolled you on social media. I don't know if you saw that. So my assumption would be that, not to answer the question for you, but what's been, I guess, the most frustrating part this season or match that you can remember?
We did lose a game 7-0. So that I would say that was just kind of an outlier. And to be fair, San Antonio so good at that moment. The players, the defending champs. For me, actually, you kind of mentioned the Oakland game. That was statistically our best game of the season. We played with such aggression in the movements, attacking wise. We were one of the best all season. We lost 1-0 on an own goal. Louisville away was tough, but it wasn't as frustrating because for the first 60, 65 minutes, I thought they were the better team and they probably deserved to go up. And then we did really well to tie, and then it all tilted in our favor. And then at the end of the game, the call didn't go our way. But, I think like the game against Oakland, we lose 1-0. We probably had games like that. We beat Tampa, Hartford twice in the last kick of the game. So sometimes that stuff happens. Just over 34 games, you don't want to do it too often. But look, honestly, I was probably the most upset at Pittsburgh because we conceded twice in a week off the opening kickoff, and I just looked like an idiot, and the team was working so hard, and it just didn't go our way. So, but those were all good learning lessons. We got Pittsburgh back and played a really great game in that second one. So I think within every time there's an up, there's a down. Every time there's a down, there's an up, and you want to find that balance of just making sure the positives definitely outweigh the negatives.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of late winners in your favor, so one had to go out of your favor.
Yeah,
so that happened to be Oakland. The Oakland game was one I was at, and you guys certainly did outperform them all over the pitch. So that is a frustrating one for sure when games go that way.
That whole balancing act. You just kind of got to trust it. You don't want to read too much into things, and it can be so frustrating in the moment too, especially with officiating decisions and all that. When emotions are so high, but that's good that it sounds like you're able to take that step back and recognize, okay, this one went against us, but this one might have gone in our favor.
Trying to find that balance.
It's not easy, even as a fan watching on. But you do have a hot young talent on your hands. Fidel was recently named to the Guardian's top 60 young talents. Just as far as his footballing future, what do you think that holds for him as a player?
Yeah, look, I think one of the worst things to do is kind of predict futures, whether it's winning results or playoff runs and these types of things. But I also understand it's important and it's talking points, and that's what is there. And I think for Fidel, it's a real thing. He is a generational talent. The players will tell you that. He'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. Other teams will tell you that. The Guardian. He's still 17, so he has to make sure he, in all four phases, from physiologically and tactically and technically and, mentally and spiritually from the emotion side as well, continue to grow up and develop. But look, he is so competitive. He is a tough mother trucker. He's enjoyable to coach in that way. I think where he's got to just keep finding the balance is at that young age of finding, being a little bit of a prick here and there, if I could say that, but in a good way. Because his training habits are good. He's obviously going to keep growing physically and mature in certain ways, cognitively as well. But from the competition standpoint, and then his approach in general, all he wants to do is win. Because he knows if he's winning, the team's winning. If the team's winning, he's going to do well. So where he ends up, look, he's on track to be a player that ends up in Europe. And I think these are players' goals. how that happens, when that happens, I have no idea. I know that we as a club and fans and people listening should enjoy it for as long as we can. But his focus is just to do the best that he can for the Charleston Battery, do the best that he can in this World Cup. Everything else will take care of itself. And to be fair to him, he has a very wise and mature head on his shoulders. I've literally just never coached a 16-year-old ever in my life. So to be able to do it, and then that he's good and that he handles things well, because you want him to suffer and struggle a little bit as well, but he doesn't miss a beat. He hits that stuff in stride, and hopefully for our sake, he just keeps getting better and better. And hopefully for his sake, he, stay healthy, stay fit, stay focused, win some games, and enjoy yourself, because let everybody else take care of the noise outside of it.
Yeah, that kind of briefly answered the question that I had, was in terms of managing a player like Fidel. I mean, he's young, he's extremely talented. The global football is keeping an eye on him. I guess what are some things that you as a manager, like, just keep an eye out for him? Is it just, stuff getting to his head, or just the pressure that you see from people talking about him, stuff like that? What are some things that you feel responsible for as a manager when it comes to managing? Like you said, you never managed a 16-year-old before. So what's it like been for you in doing that?
Look, he's got a very good support structure in his life with his family, and his friends and the people close to him. So in that regard, like, they're making sure, like, I had to sit in me, hey, if you don't do your homework, you don't get selected for the team. I was like, whoa, wait a second. Like, I don't care if he does his homework.
Yeah.
But no, he's got very good structure. He's, speak for him, but he's probably going to graduate high school a year early, which is beyond incredible for a young player with how busy he is. He works his tail off. For me, the focus is actually keeping him in line of, like, what helps the Charleston Battery win football matches, because that's our number one goal. But I go back to our processes and our platform. How can Fidel help us win? Well, he started the year as, like, our best winger pressing out of possession. Well, now he's like our number one winger in creating chances. So you got to find him. It's my job to coach on what he needs to work on or what the team needs in Fidel. But also Fidel knows he's playing with Derek Dotson, or he's playing with Declan, or he's playing near Augie or Tristan or something. So it's finding those balances for him. Actually, one thing, we had all these plans of, like, all right, on Tuesdays we'll do this and this and this. And it's actually just been better to step back. We've treated him the exact same way as AJ Patterson, who's been around the league forever and is a consummate professional. We treat him just like Nick Marcanic, who's in his second year as a pro, but first year with us. So, there's been anything and everything, but, as long as things are clear and the expectations are very blatant for him, he's going to thrive, because he works hard and he wants to do whatever it takes to win, and he'll do whatever it takes to get better. So, there's always little things in training, little things in match preparation. But for him, I truly believe that the sky's the limit. I think if he continues to stay focused and focuses on the things that are important, which he's done so far this year, the kid is top. He's top. It's a little bit crazy. He's quite good.
Yeah. Now being at Patriots Point, seeing him play, he looks more grown than some of the mid 25-year-olds you see defending him. So that's great to hear that he's got that. He's got the support, which is always good, and then he's got the clear and focused mindset to just, like, win games, and you're just there to facilitate that, which is awesome. So
competitive spirit too, because sometimes that's something that you can't really teach. And with how casual he looks in some things he does on the pitch, like, knowing he has that is like, wow, this guy
makes him scary.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Probably with most of our players, the best thing for me to do is just get out of the way. Just let the players do what they do.
You might be selling yourself short on that one.
Thank you. Obviously, Fidel is one of many USL talents we're seeing. Like, he obviously is far exceeding a little bit of that, but we're seeing the USL talent pool grow. We're seeing players go to Europe. We just saw a 13-year-old make his debut for, I forget who was it?
Sac Republic.
For you as a manager, what's your perspective? What's your take on the USL, US soccer, and I guess from like a coach's point of view, how does it look to you, and does it excite you? Does it make you excited just for US soccer as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, look, I joined the league in in January of 2019. So this is my 5th season. The growth, the jumps by leaps and bounds, the improvements are incredible. There's still things that have to get better, but I will give the people who are probably the players and the supporters are always going to be the most important, but the players and supporters wouldn't exist without the people that write the checks, the owners and the people. They've now looked at players and even coaches to an extent, but mainly players, to say, you are assets. You are the reason people turn up to our stadium. You're the reason why the black and yellow and this brand is cool and these types of things. So they've invested time, money, energy, resources, training grounds. So the professionalism in our league is skyrocketing, and it's going at a very, very quick rate. Now you take in the fact that there are a lot of really, really good young footballers in this country that want to be playing first team. And that's no slight to MLS Next Pro at all, but first team football, whether that's MLS, USL Championship, League One, etc. They want to be playing high-level professional football. And there's some 15, 16, 17-year-olds that are ready. There's a lot of guys that aren't ready till 2021, 22. That's okay. You look at all over the world. And what that continues to do is it continues to drive our league. It drives the young players in our country, Josh Widener, Diego Luna, probably Fidel, these players that are going in an alternative path and being highly, highly successful. So, there's I know the quote, in life, it's more about the journey and all these types of things. And this is a very unique way. And I think our league's just getting better and better. I think the other thing is, like, guys like you and the media coverage and the supporters and the stadiums, like, it makes our league legitimate. It makes people really tune in. Whereas maybe 4 or 5 years ago, not so much. 10 years ago, okay, it's just keep getting better and better and better. And that makes me get better. That makes Fidel get better. It makes Indy 11 and every team in the league just constantly driving day in and day out.
Yeah, it's great you put it that way, because as Connor mentioned in the beginning, we weren't really following USL Championship until this season, until the end of last season a bit. But it's funny, I'm talking to people that obviously they're more casual soccer fans. Says, like, they watch the Prem, they watch World Cup when it's on. And then I was having a conversation once with a friend of mine, and he was saying he's like, oh, it's international break, what am I going to watch? I'm like, USL Championship, like, it's really good football, like it's high level, it's exciting. Out of all the games I've watched, I've seen some crazy late winner, if not just a crazy moment. So to your point, yeah, it is a sport that has really attracted my attention, and I'm trying to spread that as much as I can to people that are soccer fans that want to tap into the game more. So the best way to grow it is to tap into your own country and stop watching too much like League One in English football. But so that's well put, and excited to see the growth of this league.
It just seems like they do all the little things right too. Like, the more that you know about it, the more you can respect the league, especially with all the battles that it has to fight, like being small or not being like the top. Like, like, it's just tough that they have to do that. And even in that adversity, like, they still do all the things right, which makes me have even more respect for it. And everyone involved. But as far as the episode goes, you've made it through the thick of it, all of our difficult questions. We're going to try to give you a layup to kind of close things out. So we were talking about your fresh hoodie, the new Battery hoodie you've got on, and we've seen some of your touchline fits. We would lend a guess that you're a guy that pays attention to the outfits that he picks out. And we've also heard that you have a bit of a Jordan collection. Do you have a specific pair teed up for Sunday that we should know about, or?
My boss, our president, Lee Cohen, he as like a welcoming gift got me a pair of Jordan 1 mids, which I was like, I like Jordans, I like sneakers, I like Air Force Ones, I'm into sneakers, and but I've never had the courage to get a pair of Jordan 1s. Like, I'm just always scared of them. Mm-hmm. So he got them. They're black, yellow, and white. We've worn them a couple times this year. We've done well in those sneakers, so probably going to wear those, just making sure we're in the black and yellow. I think the weather's supposed to be fine, but I get so cold that usually the first thing I do is sort out the sneakers and then go from there with the pants and the top. And by the end of it, letting it all go. But the shoe game, I always put a good priority on.
Love that. I'm definitely going to be copping that hoodie when I'm down there, because I saw that pop up on the store, and I texted Ben Clemens, and I was like, this is some good stuff. This is what I've been waiting for. So no, that's great.
I got my jersey to rip when I'm down there.
Yeah, that's true. But Ben, Coach, thank you for joining us this evening. Really excited to get down there, and no matter which way the result goes, round of applause for what you've done for the team and the turnaround this season. So excited to see the boys kick it around.
Well, I really do appreciate that. The kind words, the coverage all season long, having me on this evening. And then, no matter what on Sunday, make sure you guys are yelling for me. I'll get back.
We'll yell. We got Tristan. He's 6'7", so he'll be waving.
We're waving, yeah.
Crazy.
There you go. Perfect.
All right, Coach. Have a good evening.
Good luck.
All right.
Thank you for joining us.